Hey guys, it's Ryan Lilly, and today I want to tell you about one of my favorite books in the area of personal development and specifically creativity. Anyone trying to start a new business or become an artist or do anything creative. And it's called The War of Art. Now, don't get that title confused with The Art of War, which was a book on strategy written, I think, in like Chinese a few hundred years ago, but The War of Art by Steven Pressfield. Now, Steven Pressfield is actually a fiction writer primarily. He's written a lot of books that have been adapted into screenplays. You might have heard of the movie The Legend of Bagger Vance, which is a great Will Smith movie that came out years ago. But Pressfield wrote this book about how he is able to overcome the resistance that he feels anytime he goes to create something, in his case, writing and putting books out into the world. That word resistance is probably the most used word in the book. Resistance is, again, that voice in your head, whether it be procrastination or self-doubt or anything that's keeping you from creating that which you want to create. He talks a lot about the difference between how your life currently is, your life as it is, versus your unlived life, your hopes and dreams and all those things that you want to create. And he says that what's really separating those two is, again, this resistance, this fear that you have about going towards that unlived life. He talks about using resistance as really your guide in life, that which scares you or produces anxiety or that you feel some kind of aversion to doing, again, resistance, is probably what you should be looking at doing. So, for example, if you're starting a new business and you've got 10 different ideas that you're considering, consider which one scares you the most, which one produces the most anxiety in you, in addition to exciting you. So the best way to overcome resistance, he says, is to really embrace it and face it head on consistently every day. So Steven Pressfield is, again, a writer, and he talks about setting a time every day where he sits down, regardless of how he's feeling or what's going on in his life, and he creates. He writes for like 4 to 5 hours at a time, and he does that day in and day out. I'll tell you that for myself, doing these videos, I've set aside a time every night to come to you with these tips and these videos. And for me, that's helped me to overcome my resistance to making these videos. Because initially I was a little unsure about putting all these tips out there. But the more you do it, the more comfortable it feels, and the more that you can overcome that resistance. And then last but not least, and this is, I think, such an important point for anybody to really think about, is that, and he talks about this towards the end of the book, creating whatever it is, a business, artwork, whatever, is not a selfish act. That if you feel called to bring something into the world, that is there for a reason, for a purpose. And in fact, if you don't do that, if you don't answer that calling, that is being selfish. Consider people who might be developing a vaccine for a disease, or someone who is helping people in some other area of life. If they weren't doing those things, they would actually be depriving the people that they're supposed to be helping. So think about that. Think about, creating as really an act of love, that you're meant to help other people and show love in the world by what it is you're trying to bring into existence. Hopefully that's been a helpful tip for you today. Again, something to think about. If you didn't get a chance, please go back and watch my most recent podcast, episode 2, with a great artist, EJ Nieves. And one of the things we talked about in his interview was overcoming fear of rejection as you put your art out into the world. And I asked him that question, and actually one of the things he said was that he just consistently kept putting art out into the world. And so again, the more you do it, the more you'll overcome that resistance to creation and to putting value out to others. Hopefully this has been great for you. If so, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks, guys.